Hey guys, ECRG here, and today we're going to talk about should you go to college if you want to get into clinical research. Hey guys, ECRG here, and today we're going to be talking about should you go to college if you want to get into clinical research. And I know there's a lot of talk about there in the YouTube space about people not going to college and should you go to college or not. And they bring up very good arguments either way, both sides. But today I'm going to give you a not so specific answer and just talk about some of the pros and cons on either side. Now, should you go to college? It's a yes or no answer. Can you make it in clinical research without going to college? Yes, you can. Is it probably going to be harder for you since you didn't go to college? Probably, absolutely. If you look on the jobs, if you've been applying for jobs, you know that they say a person with this much experience, like 2 or 3 years, or a person with a college degree and this much experience. So it's clear they show you that if you have experience without a college degree, that you can get jobs and you can move up. But I think as you move up and up the food chain, like if you want to go from a project coordinator or something to a project manager, it may be a little bit harder if you don't have a degree. However, I know people who have made the move from clinical trial assistant to a CRA. So I know you can get to a CRA without a college degree. I know there are associate degree programs out there, which is a 2-year degree, and they major in clinical research. I mean, honestly, you don't need 4 years to really to really go into anything. I mean, it doesn't take 4 years for me to do the job I do. It probably would just take like a few months of training, honestly, to do it. I mean, a college degree in the overall scheme of things doesn't really matter for the job, for most of our jobs. Let's just be honest. But as far as like what companies will think and how they screen about it, it can be beneficial just to make it easier to get through the screening process. But as far as like having a degree to make your job easier or teaching you how to do it in your job, absolutely not. It doesn't do that. This video is more about navigating through and leveling up in the industry. So study coordinator, you can get that job without a college degree. That is possible. But once again, it may be a little bit harder to move up if you want to move up into that CRA role. However, it is possible. But if you want to move up the food chain a little bit, then it may be a little bit tougher. So I'm kind of leaning more towards, yes, you should go to college. Maybe you do an associate's degree and see where you can get, because a lot of those associate degree programs, they do partner you up with an internship at a CRO or something. And that is going to be very beneficial because that gives you on-the-job experience as well, not just the background in the classroom. So that's what the best bet. So if you are leaning towards going to college, you definitely want to make sure that you have internships, because just that you have a degree or not doesn't really automatically make you a shoo-in to clinical research, even though there's a shortage of positions and everyone needs more resourcing there. So you definitely want to make sure that you get internships in order to do that. But as far as your major in college, it doesn't really matter. Should you get a clinical research degree? If you want to go into clinical research, it probably helps, because once again, in that degree, they're going to team you up with a CRO or whatever, or you can probably choose if you want to do what internship you want to do, whether it's at the site level, the sponsor level, or the CRO level. You'll have those options there and you'll have that choice. Now, once you get up to the master's level, things are going to be a little bit different, just because that's a different level. Normally when you're up in the master's PhD level, you're going to be looking at positions that are higher than the first few positions on the totem pole. So that's a whole different discussion. We'll save that for another video. But it also depends on your college decision on what you want to do in clinical research. If you want to be a medical science liaison, if you want to be a PI, if you want to be a sub-I, then you have to go to college. And oftentimes you have to go to medical school for that and do all the medical training and stuff of that nature. So that's not really debatable. In order to practice in America, in order to be a PI, you have to have a medical degree pretty much. Or I've seen a couple PhDs, but that's very rare. You need a medical degree. And obviously for that, you have to go to college. So if you want to be a study coordinator, a clinical trial assistant, et cetera, you do not have to go to college. But it may be harder for you. Maybe it's getting harder and harder to get your foot in the door without a degree, I have seen. But still possible. It's not impossible. But it's harder and harder to get your foot in the door. And it's hard to find experience, place where you can get experience. Especially one of the things that college is good at is it makes your floor higher. So if you don't have a degree, it's going to be very hard for you to break in to places, and it's going to, like, whenever times get bad and you may have to like go get a entry-level position, it makes your floor a little bit higher. So you're not going to be making, bottom of the barrel like $30,000 a year. You might make a little bit more than that, be able to make ends meet. So that's one of the things that college is good for. But if you're a self-starter, if you're self-motivated, if you're hungry, then you can do it without college, and only you would know the answer to that. And a lot of people aren't, when they're coming out of high school, like 17, 18 years old, they're not mature enough to be able to do that yet, to be able to, do stuff without people telling them to like really get up and go. So you've got to know yourself. You've got to really understand what you want. And that can help determine whether you should go to college or not. Because if you're aggressive, if you're hungry, then it's worth a shot trying to get into the industry without going to college. It's worth, only doing an associate's degree or taking a couple classes, what you need, or, doing whatever to get in the industry, because it's possible. I have seen people do it. It is possible. And I have seen people rise in the industry without degrees. So that is possible. But I think that for more people than not, it's going to be easier for sure if you have a degree of some sort, college degree or associate's degree. So that's my 2 cents, leaning more towards, you kind of should go to college for clinical research, even though it's not mandatory, it's not necessary. If you guys have any comments, please leave them down below. What do you guys think? Should people go to college if they want to get into clinical research? Good idea, bad idea? Leave that down below. Like this video if you haven't done already. Go ahead and subscribe. Email us at eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. If any of you guys own any businesses in the clinical research industry, we'd love to talk to you. We'd love to potentially do interviews with you. Or if you're in the clinical research community and you want to tell your story, we'd love to do an interview with you. So email us at eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com for that. We love hearing from you guys. And please, please, please hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be a super member, if you want to be one of our favorites, hit that bell, that notification bell. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.